Good morning. I hope you're having a great morning. It was a tough night for all of us. I couldn't sleep after I watched those ballistic missiles hit into buildings in Tel Aviv, in Bat Yam, in Haifa, and so on, in Petach Tikva, to see little babies falling from high floors being rescued, elderly people, to hear the death toll. Over 10 people were killed just yesterday. Just think and fathom to yourself. When Israel began this operation, they knocked out tons of ballistic missiles and carriers that Iran had. Just to explain something to you, Iran has about 3,000 ballistic missiles. They were trying to get 8,000 more from China, or the materials and things to make them. But they only have about 150 to 200 carriers that launch these missiles. And Israel knocked out many of them. And they knocked out many of their missiles too. Yet, if you see, they first shot 100 missiles at Israel, then 90, then 50, then 40. They're saving up because they don't have much left. And yet look how much damage they're able to do. Even with all the defenses Israel has, some of them get through. Buildings, high-rises could collapse with hundreds of people missing or buried under rubble. Imagine Israel allows them and waits for the world to work on peace talks, on a nuclear, figuring something out with the nuclear plants for years. Never even dealt with their ballistic missiles. That they were allowed to have for some reason, even though they called for the annihilation of Israel. Thank God for what Israel does. We Jews should be so proud. Israel doesn't run, the Jewish people don't run the world. We save the world time and again. We knocked out the nuclear reactors from Iraq in '81. We knocked out the nuclear reactors in Syria, was it in 2014, I think. And now we're doing it the third time, saving the Western world and the whole world from these ayatollahs, these mullahs having nuclear weapons. We should be so proud. And it's remarkable because this week's Torah portion is the portion of Shlach. Everything is by divine providence. The portion of Shlach is the story where God sends the spies 3,337 years ago to go to Israel to figure out the best way for the Jewish people to come there and to settle it. And the spies come back and 10 out of 12 say, we're not going to be able to do it. We can't overcome it. And they say a remarkable quote. The spies say like this. They say, we came to the land and we saw these giants. And we felt like grasshoppers in their eyes, and so did they see us. Say the rabbi something remarkable. And the rabbi expounds at this at length, that because we envisioned ourselves as grasshoppers, that's why they saw us as grasshoppers. The moment we were weak, the moment we were intimidated, the moment we felt we were small, the moment we didn't realize our task of what we had to accomplish, that's how they viewed us. And the Rebbe always encouraged and said that a Jew has to know their role in the world. And a Jew has to be proud of who they are. A Jew has to be proud of Israel. A Jew has to learn and read the history of the Torah, how God gave us the land, the story of 1940 and 48, and so on. Be acquainted with it, stand proud and tall, support Israel, not be intimidated. Because what happened with the spies, the greatest fault was that they envisioned themselves as grasshoppers in the face of these giants, so to speak. But when we know who we are, that we have a message of God, that we're a nation that brings morals and ethics and kindness to the world, Israel never ever starts wars. Only when we're threatened with our very existence. This is only 80 years after the Holocaust, the worst genocide that ever happened. And time and again, we were threatened with annihilation by Iran. Iran has sowed fear and hatred and chaos into the Middle East for over 40 years. Think about who arms the Houthis. Think about who arms Hamas and Hezbollah and Assad regime. And it goes on and on. So we as Jews should be remarkably proud that we, a small tiny nation of 10 million people, are taking on the biggest dangers of the world. And the Western world should be ashamed of themselves, of their morals, of who they are, of what they've become. That they don't stand up for what's right. What does America first mean? America should be thanking Israel every moment for what we're doing. They should be sending us the B-2 bombers. They should be doing it themselves and bombing Fordo. Do they want the Iranians to have a bomb? A nuclear bomb? Think of what the Iranians are doing in Tel Aviv, in Bat Yam, in Petach Tikva, in Haifa. And imagine if they had a nuclear warhead. Heaven forbid. Heaven forbid, not just for Israel, but for Europe and for America and for the entire destabilization of the world. So the world should be celebrating and appreciating, and they will come to that. It might be after we do it on our own, but we should be so proud of what the IDF has accomplished. You know, on Shabbos, as I mentioned to you yesterday, we had this beautiful Shabbos. We had 45 guests on Friday night, and Shabbos day, shul was jam-packed. Everyone was praying for Israel. We had the honor of having Robert Kraft, the owner of the New England Patriots, one of the proudest Jews who fights anti-Semitism and embraces his tradition and is a voice of reason in a world gone chaotic for the Jewish people, came to read his Haftorah, his beautiful Haftorah of Rani V'Simchi, which speaks about being a light. And as he always says, his favorite verse there, where God says, Lo b'koach v'lo b'chayil. It's not about the might, it's not about the strength, but it's about the spirit of Hashem, which we have witnessed. This little tiny nation overcoming a nation. Think about it. Israel's 10 square miles. Iran is, I think, 800 or 900 square miles. We're 10 million people. They're 90 million people. And yet we control the entire airspace of Iran. Literally. It's unbelievable. So we should be proud of who we are. We have the spirit of Hashem. And he read the Haftarah beautifully and spoke. And then I went home. And we were tired. I went to take a Shabbos nap. And my kids come running up. My little kids were playing outside in our front yard. We live in a busy street. Everyone knows where we live. Only the kids. I wasn't even there. And we have a sign that says, bring back the hostages. And someone comes by in a car and rolls down the window and stops and starts screaming at my little kids, free, free Palestine. And not only that, my kids said they thought he was leaving. He turned back around, circled around on Wiswaxy Park. We went back to the golf course and came back around to scream at my kids again. What kind of animal, what kind of imbecile terrorizes and threatens and screams at kids? Is that how you're going to free Palestine? Is that how you're going to help the people in Gaza? Is that how you're going to help the people in Judea and Samaria? You care about nothing. You care about yourself. You care about your ridiculous things that you have convinced yourself is what's important for the world. You have hate and don't care about anyone. But my kids were so proud. My kids told me, Ta, we were so proud. We said, Am Yisrael Chai back, because that's what we taught them to be. The moment we feel like grasshoppers, that's how they see us. Be strong. Teach your kids to be strong. Teach your kids to wear necklaces that say Chai. Teach your kids to wear yarmulkes that support the IDF. Teach your kids to speak up. Teach your kids to be proud. And do me a favor, let your children and you yourself know that you're living through history, a remarkable time. It's so difficult to watch what's happening in Israel. It's painful. And we also pray for the innocent people in Tehran. But we know that the moment the mullahs fall and the moment Iran is free, there will be a change in the entire Middle East. Remember what you're living through. Be proud. Be strong. And remember, lo b'choach v'lo b'chayil. It's not about our might. Yes, the IDF's important, the Mossad's the most important, but it's about Ki'im Beruchi, Amar Hashem. If we have the spirit of Hashem, we have the spirit of the Jewish people, and we're guaranteed to succeed. Have a great day, and we hope to share only good news in Israel. We think about all those people who are stranded in Israel and in America trying to get back. We think about all these elderly people, the people who didn't sleep last night, the people who lost loved ones, The people who left orphans, we love them all. We embrace them all. We're not forgetting about you. We think about you all day. And we will do what we can from our place to stand with you, shoulder to shoulder, arm in arm, to celebrate being Jewish and saving the Western world from madmen and ayatollahs and mullahs. Have a great